but we're going to be talking about profitable conversations. Sales Ascenders, happy Wednesday. We are back for another member spotlight. And today we get to jump into some really fun things. The most important thing, the words that we say, whether it's on paper or being spoken, copywriting is one of the most powerful things. We get to dive into some more speaking and copywriting tactics and things that we can implement. This conversation is going to be so valuable. I promise it's going to make you money, because I know sales is one of the number one things that all of us should be thinking about, focused on, and doing more of in our business. We are joined by Kat Halushka, originally from Russia, lived different parts of the world. We'll have to find out where she resides right now together today, but we're going to be talking about profitable conversations and your number one signature profitable talk. Kat, thank you for joining us today. How are you doing over there?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me. And hey, Sales Ascenders, I'm super excited to have this chat with you today, because that was the single thing that moved the needle in my business.
Yes, and I know we've got to connect, Kat, and everyone's gonna be blown away by your story, because you're living it out. You've built the businesses, had all the rejection and then some that we've all had to face and work through ourselves. And so I know it's going to be inspiring, helpful. But let's just talk about your shirt for a second, because this is grabbing my attention. Life.
It's
life on fire. I think I know where that came from, and I love that.
Community I'm a part of.
Another community, yes, which is a really, really good one. But I just it was catching my attention because through getting to know you briefly so far, I feel like you totally embody that. Living life on fire, you're full of life. And that said, where did life start out for you?
I'm originally actually from Russia. So I was born and raised in Russia. I came to Canada when I was 19 with my family. My parents decided to immigrate. And I got to say, it wasn't easy. It definitely wasn't easy. It's completely different culture. It's completely different expectations. But it was the really first time that I was able to get a job and actually get paid for it. And so I still remember getting that first paycheck and that feeling of accomplishment, but also a feeling of defeat. Because my paycheck, I still remember it was $620 something. And all I knew is that was for 2 weeks worth of work, full time, 40 hours a week. This is solid, full-time job, right? And all I could think about, well, my rent is $750. So
how is this going to work?
Yeah, how am I going to do this?
That's awesome. So
where my journey started is from that moment of celebration and defeat.
It's funny as you say that. My wife will often give me a hard time. I refer to myself as a mixologist, meaning I mix words. But if they make sense, should it not be a word? Point in case, as example, is discouragement. You're inspired, but you're discouraged all at the same time. It's discouragement. To me, it makes perfect sense. So I love what you're saying. So you've obviously, what's that?
You're gonna have to TM that one.
I should. Yes. Hold on one second. I'm going to disappear. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'll write that down. I was just talking about trademarks yesterday. It's so ironic. Anyway, okay, so you get your first check and you have that high and also that low. But where'd you continue to grow? What's the main industry that you've found yourself working in?
I'm by trade a web designer. I know, beautiful profession. A coder and a web designer. I have a couple of degrees there. And all I discovered is after paying for not just one college, but 2 colleges, I graduated to make a whopping $16 an hour. That was very exciting.
Yes.
Right.
We all start somewhere, right? We all start somewhere. So, so you're making a lot more per hour now, which is great. But I'd like to focus for everyone today as they get to know you, just a little bit right now, right here, which is awesome. Today we'll be focused on your profitable talk. The big question for everyone listening today is, do you have your profitable talk dialed in? I like to think of this as this is verbal copywriting. Words matter, whether they're on paper or being spoken. This particular one is really powerful now. More people are doing virtual like interviews like this. They're doing virtual summits. They're, even though we're not on stages, even though I know you're an expert there, and we need to dive into stages a little bit because that's such a powerful, story transformation for you. I just want to address all audience, whether you're doing stage, you're virtual. This is, you want more sales. This is the conversation we need to be having. This is your profitable talk, your story. So what kind of brought you, like, what inspired you to like really hone in on this part of business?
Yeah, and hey guys, so I started by telling you about that paycheck story, right? And how I was inspired, but I was defeated, right? The thing is, I just knew that there's something more, and I didn't know what it is. I started going to a lot of events. And a lot of those events were people who would be training on business, real estate, right? So there's like a bajillion different areas on how you can make money and how you can grow and how you can develop yourself. But there was one that stood out. It was a 3-day event. A guy came, I didn't know who he is. He came over from like Vancouver, which is like, I think 11-hour drive. And there I'm sitting in the audience and he's making an offer, and an offer was $5,000 coaching program. And I'm thinking, oh, no way, like $5,000, like I'm making 620 somewhere dollars every 2 weeks. Like,
How is this gonna work?
This is like half a year worth of salary for me. And I'm watching people in the audience get up, and one sign up, the second one, the fourth one, the sixth one, and I'm like, who is this guy? He just made more money in 1 hour than I make in a year. And for me, it was such a moment of clarity that I'm on the wrong side of the stage. I just knew that as a person in the audience, there's no way for me to generate as much income, but also create the impact that I want. I always wanted to help people. I know a lot of you are sitting on the other side of that camera and you're like, I just want to help people. You don't even know how yet. Or maybe you do, but you're not sure where to find the people or how to get them to your services or programs, right? That was my moment of clarity. I just wanted to help people. And that guy just showed me that you can do it in 1 hour. In 1 hour, you can close more business than I was making in the year. And so I actually just came up to him after the event and I said, hey, I just want to learn how you do it. So can I work for you or do something for you? And you teach me how to do it. And you don't have to pay me. And so I started helping him out with some of the events and managing communities, no cost. And he started mentoring me on how he was doing that. And ever since then, I just remember my first stage and I didn't close anything. And I called him, I was like, I totally failed you. I started offering his products first because I didn't have one. I was like, I totally failed you. And I didn't sell anything. He's like, perfect. This was the perfect one for you then. Go do it again. And I would push myself to do it over and over and over again. And on the second one, I closed 1 client, and then 4, and then 10, and then 25. And I was like, dang. And so what got me here is now I closed over $2 million worth of business, different coaching programs from stages. And it all came to having just one presentation, one profitable signature talk that I delivered over and over and over again. So I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. I didn't have to invent a new talk every single time, a new training. I just had to dial in on one and do it at least once a month. So for me, the biggest aha was as I was watching my income grow and what I was creating for my mentor grow, right? I realized that just by doing one talk a month, if I closed one $5,000 clients, I was generating $60,000 a year. And that was double of what I was making before. So for me, that was just like 1 hour a month, $60,000. I'll take that. and all it came to, the audience kept coming up to me and asking like to teach them how to do that as well. So I started a business out of this because I want to help people get where I am. I want people to have that confidence. I want people to not struggle to get clients anymore because I've been there. And I want them to be able to support their families, retire their spouses, travel, not right now, not cross-border anyway, but still in your life, right? Have that life that you want to have, right?
Yeah, I think that's really important. In any process journey, there's kind of two journeys that take place. There's the external journey, there's the internal journey.
Yeah.
And, there's this external one of, wow, watching, and I want to do that. But the internal one, that you were sharing with me, what I love hearing about people's stories is usually the breakthrough ones. There's and Rafael, like, good to see you, man. Thanks for watching. Coming from Poland, it looks like he's traveling, moving around a little bit, or maybe you've been there for a while. I'm not sure. We haven't talked for a while, man. It's been too long. But and he was saying, I can relate with this, is that journey, that emotion, that experience. Usually the good ones have that. They're very aware and clear on it, and then they know how to go create and help other people with that. And so we all have our different products and services, but those are really just the vehicles of accomplishing ultimately that feeling. There's that human element of business is kind of how I don't know, I'm still figuring it out with all of us, right? But I love hearing your story because I can hear that internal part is, can you elaborate a little bit more on like how you felt before, like the stage gave you this different sense of confidence? And I thought that was really powerful.
Yeah, and so guys, like I wasn't a born speaker by any way. And in fact, I used to be a very, very shy kid. So at networking events, I'm the one who's like kind of sitting in the corner and waiting for everybody else to come to me. But all it came to is as you are practicing, as you're getting on more stages, as you're making more offers, as you're closing more clients, you will have people coming to you and telling you their stories and what you taught them, how you helped them change their life forever. And after getting those messages, like honestly, the confidence in myself, the confidence in my business grew so much because I literally live on the messages. In fact, I have a book where I print the messages from my clients or from people who attended my events or heard my talks or listened to an interview. I just print them out, whatever those comments are, the little, the big ones, the testimonials. I don't care, just the ones that make me feel the way I want to feel and the way I want to pass it on. Print it out, glue it to the book. And I read on it on those down days, because there are down days, on those days that I'm doubting myself, on those days where I'm not sure if I'm moving in the right direction, I just open it up and read it. Because when someone tells you that by working with you, this was the first vacation they were able to take in 6 years, like you're bound to feel not just a little bit, but really good. Because that is truly the feeling of accomplishment. That is truly the feeling of you being on purpose, is when someone validates you that way.
Like as you're saying that, I'm thinking about if the person that you learned from, had that moment for, didn't have the confidence, courage to step out and do their thing that day, then you would have never felt the way you felt. It's kind of like carrying the torch a little bit.
I want to point out,
yeah.
It's not the confidence to succeed, it's the confidence to fail, guys. It's not the confidence to succeed, it's the confidence to fail. It's the confidence of you stepping on the stage, even if you haven't prepared the talk, even if you don't feel well, even if you're not sure if the audience is going to like you. Overcoming all of your own objections is the really first objections you ever have to overcome, because there will be resistance that comes up, right? And so having the confidence in yourself that regardless to what's on your mind, what you're feeling, what objections you're coming up on, why you shouldn't be on that stage, right? Why you're not the right person, why you're not in the right room, overcoming those objections will build your confidence more than anything, is being able to stay on purpose no matter what. Business does get hard. Life does get hard. Mindset gets hard. Things get hard sometimes. But building that confidence to overcome every single time is what will allow for you to create the impact and a profitable business. So that's truly what I'm passionate about, is like build the confidence on your failures. The successes will come.
That's awesome. That's so powerful. That's so powerful to stay focused on activity, action, and approaching like, hey, you know what? I know I don't have it figured out. It's not like ignoring, it's not suppressing it. It's moving forward in spite of it. That's really good, Kat. So you did that. You took action, and your confidence to fail. You've moved through all that. It grew, and now you're passing on that other feel. I love that practice of reviewing the good things, those moments that have kicked in for you. I was like, oh, that's a takeaway for me. Hopefully everyone listening, I wanted to highlight that part. I was like, oh yes, like that's really good for all of us, because as we're going through business, with our teams, with our customers, with all the different things that are going on, man, remembering, oh, we're right, but maybe I'm just working for this one person today. I'm going to create that one connection, that one extra connection, that one extra breakthrough, that one, through the delivery of our product and service. I think it's really powerful to remember, as we all know, as entrepreneurs and business owners, we're just making it up. We're just making it up day by day, trying to figure it out. Come on, we can be honest, right? Doesn't mean that it's still not an excellent product, but we're still creating each day. So that said, now more and more numbers are growing, right? You're closing more and more. It's around this profitable talk. Kat, we're talking to other business owners here. How do we create, what are some best practices and tips, tools, strategies on how to create our profitable talk?
Yeah, and I'll give you the foundation of profitable signature talk system that I use myself. That's what helped me get here, and that's really just 3 simple parts, right? It's story, content, and offer. And I know it seems really simple, but it has to be dialed in and delivered in a very specific way. And I want to tell you that most of the speakers or entrepreneurs, as they get on stage, as they get on the interview, as they're doing the webinar, the first thing they're tempted to do is downsize their story. And I don't know the reason. We all come up with our own reasons of why. But in reality, your story is the most powerful tool that you have in your business to communicate why your clients should work with you. Because chances are you're your ideal client and you're here because you went through something, you're going through something right now, and you found the tool, the process, the steps, the systems that worked for you. And now you're passionate about sharing that tool, process, steps, product, systems, right? Whatever it is. And your story will be something that will allow for people to connect with you. It will allow for people to like you and understand that you actually can help them. So here's the thing. In sharing the stories, it's one of the oldest tools in the marketing toolbox, but it's one of the oldest tools of connection, right? Thinking back to sitting around the fire at the campground or in the backyard. This is some of the most beautiful moments of life where people naturally start sharing their stories, good ones and scary ones, right? So there's all kinds of stories. And the thing is, no story is the same. But here's what it does to the person in the audience. First, they see that you understand them. And unless you can make someone feel like they are understood, they will never buy from you. That's just by default marketing basics. If the person on the other side of this conversation does not feel like you understand them, they won't buy from you. It goes like, one of the best ways I've ever had this explained, my mentor explained it to me. It's like when you go to a doctor and you sit down and the doctor goes, okay, well, what's happening? Like, tell me what's bothering you. And you go, well, I have a headache right here. And he goes, okay. And when I lay down, the headache goes away. He goes like, oh, okay. And then when you go down the stairs, it kind of starts pulsating right here. And you go, yes. And then the doctor goes like, and then when you jump, you almost feel like you're going to pass out. You go, yes. And then when you wake up, it's like unbearable. It's all over your head. Like it doesn't even let go. And you go, yes. Imagine if a doctor, after saying all that and knowing exactly what you're experiencing, went, I don't know how to help you. Right? It would be ridiculous. At that point, you're sitting there expecting. He knows exactly what's wrong with you and exactly how to help you. So you're on the edge of the seat waiting for him to prescribe the solution to your problem. You should be that doctor. You should know exactly what your market is going through. How are they feeling? How are they describing it? Right? What are they struggling with? And how is that affecting their life? If you speak in that language, they will feel understood and they will be on the edge of the seat waiting for you to prescribe them the solution. That's just it's such an organic way of attracting your ideal clients versus trying to push them into sales or try to use the techniques and all of that stuff. Just share your story. And through sharing your story, they will be on the edge of the seat feeling like finally, there's someone on the stage, there's someone on the screen that understands them.
You're
So
like, thank
they'll
you.
wait.
Somebody gets me.
Right. So they'll wait for you to say, okay, and my product is this, and this is how much it is. And the thing is, once they feel confident that you understand them and you have a solution for them, it's a no-brainer for them to pay any kind of money. Any kind of money. Money is never an objection. An objection comes up from them not understanding how you're going to help them, or if you understand them. So that's your story part. And the thing is, again, coming back to profitable signature talk system, the first part of it is the story, and it should be 15 minutes. 15 minutes is a sweet spot. This is like where you can really make them feel. And the truth is, in I don't even remember where I heard that. It's one of the psychological books or something like that. But in the first 11 minutes, people will decide if they're going to buy from you. In the first 11 minutes. And this is why you're sharing a story first. Because if you start from making an offer too soon, they don't even know why you're the person, and they drop out, right? If you start from powering through training and giving them all the things in every step, again, they're not ready yet. They're not even sure that the solution that you are teaching them is the solution for them. They're not sold on it yet, right? They don't understand how it fits their life and their problem yet. But if you start from a story, you literally show them how what you're about to teach them is going to change their life and how it's exactly for their problem.
That's really powerful. That's really powerful. I think anyone that's had enough conversation connection in sales conversations or just market research, I hope would have found that process to be 1,000 times true. I know I have, completely agree with all that. So now that we're getting some of the connection and the story piece in play, I mean, you did mention profitable. They're waiting to hear back. What are some best practices on downplaying a story? How do we not downplay our story? What are the good parts of our story to maybe highlight?
Yeah, and so with your story, there's always going to be a pivot moment, right? So you have this like, here's where I was, and then something happened, and here's how I'm here now. So there's always this curve of you starting from where your potential customers are at right now, right? So you just describe exactly how they're feeling, what they're going through, what challenges they're having, and then you take them to the moment where everything changed for you. So guys, by the way, the beginning of this interview was all story, right? So for me, where I started is from receiving that paycheck and being just devastated, excited, but devastated because I couldn't even pay my rent with that. And my pivot point was when I went to that one event and I saw this guy who sold more in 1 hour than I was making in a year. And what did I do about it is I literally went and asked him to mentor me on that. And then I shared where I am now. Now I sold over $2 million from stages worth of coaching products and programs. So see how there's a clear progression. And the thing is, if you are in your story right now, because I know a lot of you are, a lot of you don't have this huge success to share. And I was at that point at some point in my life, right? I didn't just go from 0 to 2 million and that's it, right? It took me time. So I want you to know that you still have a very powerful story. You are one step ahead of someone in the audience, and that's all you need to be. You don't have to create this wild success and compare yourself to some of the biggest name in the industry. All you need to know is you're one step ahead of someone who's listening to you. And that's all they're looking for. They're looking for someone who's one step ahead. So focus on that. But with your story, yes.
What's that?
Go for it.
Well, you're catching my curiosity a little bit. I love that framework of, hey, just be one step ahead. Man, thoughts are so powerful. That's a really good thought to focus on, put you in a good place to go present. I kind of selfishly want to ask a question here.
Yeah.
And this question is like, so profitable talk, we go through a story, focus on that epiphany moment. I love that. Where are the best places to speak right now? How are you adjusting during, the times that be?
Yeah, and so definitely the default ones that you should be watching out for is summits and doing webinars. Those are really like the basics. The webinars were always around, right? But now they're more popular than ever because most of the people can't go out of their house or travel or attend, right? So those are the default ones, and there's so many of summits popping up everywhere. Really pay attention. Find the summits that are for your audience and jump on it. you'd be surprised how many opportunities are out there. And summits, because they're promoted collaboratively between all the speakers, those are tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of people in the audience who are going to be receiving information about you, attending your talk, knowing about your offer, right? Checking you out. So it's a whole new level of exposure. So this is like really good ways. But podcast, any kind of Facebook shows or any shows, TV shows, radio shows, there's a ton of opportunities out there still. Like, look at me, I'm on the member spotlight where I thank you for inviting me. Never
it's happening.
Yeah, right? And really the framework of profitable signature talk works here as well. So again, we're doing story. We started from a story content, and I'm probably going to be making an offer at the end. Wink. So you guys see how the framework clearly works, no matter how long it is, how short it is, if it's a podcast or if it's a Facebook Live, if it's a webinar or you're doing a summit, the framework is still the same. The pieces are the same, but it's just a matter of identifying the right stories, building them out, content, offer, and knowing exactly the pieces behind it. I'd share it all, but this is actually like a 3-day training, so we'd be here for 3 days, and Chris has family.
That's right. That's great. I was just thinking best practices. So if we're going to speak on a podcast, we're going to speak on a summit. Hey, go there and share your story. Really powerful. I'd like you to speak to, do we bring lead magnets? Do we bring, like one-pager PDFs for? Do we? What should be the call to action? Just curious your take on, how you prep for those type of speaking engagements and how you monetize them.
So there's by default 3 calls of action that you should have built out with your profitable signature talk. So there's actually 3 versions of it, right? Number 1 is going to be your freebie. So any kind of handout, PDF, some kind of gift, right, to the audience. Number 2 is going to be your offer. So it's an offer into your really first layer of products or services, right? So say you have an online course, that's perfect offer. So that would be you directly telling them what's included in the program, how much it is, and sending them to a sales page. And number 3, it's inviting them to have a conversation with you. So that's a phone call, discovery call, whatever you want to call it, strategy call, right? So this is the 3 types of profitable signature talk you should have. The truth about it is the story and content part are absolutely the same for all 3. It's just the offer changes. So those are 3 types of offers. And when it comes to identifying which one to use, I'm going to be honest with you, whichever one the host is allowing for you to use. Because the truth is not every host is going to be okay with you powering through what's included in your program and the values and price and sending people to a sales page. Otherwise, their audience would just have a decision fatigue, right? They'd be like, I don't want to pay every single time someone goes live, and then they just don't want to attend. So that creates problems for the host. So you have to have that conversation with the host first, right? And then it's in that order. So listen, it's in that order. If the host allows you to do anything, you always want to make an offer. That's like the first one. If they don't allow for you to make an offer, you want to do a call. So schedule a call so you can make an offer, right, on the call. And number 3 is going to be give them a gift, because this is a list building strategy. So number 3 works really well for the summits.
Awesome. That's really helpful to talk through. The couple of key things there, and I'm assuming we have a lot of viewers that have been through this process, thought through those things. Love hearing your perspective, and some that were like, oh, I didn't quite think of that. One, I hope people consider is just like you said, have that conversation with the host, because that'll also kind of prep. Ooh, where are the best places to speak? Because you'll start learning in the patterns and trends of what's acceptable. And that said, I love how having this conversation applies so much to what's happening already right now, right? It's dog fooding, it's eating your own cooking, it is the process. And, even in this dynamic, speaking with Kat and everyone, all sales centers watching, this platform is designed for a speaking platform, is designed to be a safe place where we can just connect as other business owners, talk about tools, resources, tips, kind of like behind the scenes, not worrying about what clients are thinking. And we can this is a place where we get to iron things out. And so and this inner circle group, we're very open about, we are only focused on solving one problem. There are plenty of problems that we don't solve, which is why we want to meet more people and make more connections. It's exhausting just to solve one problem efficiently with SOPs and all the things that go with it, right? So, in this case, we ask speakers always come with, free value. And if there's any type of other like free events or things going on, we want to promote those things and really build each other up. So, and obviously, Kat, we've talked through that. So, profitable talk, getting that dialed in, sharing your story, being prepared to lead with value, and offer. I love what you said. The beginning version of what you're already selling. Some people are like, oh, what do I do? And they try to like make up something. It's like, do what you already do. Just do a little bit smaller piece of that. It keeps it simple. It feels light. It's good. So I thought that was a really good takeaway for me. Anything else you'd add to that?
No, this is great. Like really the speaking of any sort is the really foundation of the marketing for the business model that we teach, right? Is when you think about it, speaking can come in interviews or doing profitable signature talk in any way, but speaking also is practicing your communication with your clients. Can you actually describe the problem that you're solving? And we deal with that a lot, where a lot of people, they really feel challenged when it comes to that. Like, what is your message? What are you trying to put out there? How are you telling your clients exactly how you're going to help them and what are you going to help them with? If you can't answer those questions, you definitely need to start working on that, because that what will increase your conversions, first of all, but that will actually help you move your business forward and get those clients. You need to connect with your clients on the level that they're at, not the level you're at. I know Russell Brunson has this whole, what is the name? Technobabble. Don't talk technobabble. Like, don't talk the languages of your industry, the funnels, the conversions, like all of those things. I know I use it here because you're in sales, Ascender's inner circle, so I know you guys know what that is. But generally, this is not a language I use in my profitable signature talk, because I meet my clients where they're at. So I talk a lot about generating $100,000 a year, creating impact, helping others, because that's how my clients talk to me. So it's important to use that language of your clients, meeting them where they're at instead of trying to bring them up to your level, because they don't even understand why they need it yet.
Totally makes sense. Hey, just a fun side question on language. How many languages do you know?
3.5.
3.5. What's the half language?
I speak a little bit of Polish.
A little bit of Polish. Hey, Rafael. There you go. He's from Poland originally and came to a little bit. Came to Canada when he was 50. That's awesome. A little bit, but he's Russian and English, obviously. What's the other one?
Belarusian, actually.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm always blown away and fascinated by people who can speak multiple languages. To me, it seems so challenging. Like, I lived in Hawaii for 4 years. I started learning Japanese, but like I mean, like for some phrases suck. Like "kore wa nan desu ka?" Like I can remember some like phrases or questions or terminology, but I can't hold a conversation where I like totally forgot. So I'm like, when people can speak other languages, I'm like, I don't know, I think it's so cool. What does this make sense? Do you know what this is?
No.
No. Rafael, help us out, man. I don't know what that is. Decode it for us. That's awesome. Yeah, this has been fun talking about not just a talk, but a profitable talk. I really think this is important. I'd like to explore this for just a second in our conversation. We've talked about preparing it. We've talked about where to go with it. We've talked about how to leverage it and build relationship from it, i.e. leads and more customer acquisition. Being really clear on understanding our customer's problem, being able to articulate it. I think a lot of times there's doubt, frustration in the journey from lack of clarity. And I really feel like reviewing I like the way you're saying it, the profitable talk, I don't know, at least annually, maybe quarterly, is a really healthy and valuable exercise to speak and write down and kind of go through that process just to re-clarify the message. How do you feel that role has played in your business that you're running now?
Yeah, so for us, we do recognize that people need to review their profitable signature talk more often, probably than even quarterly. Because the thing is, when you're creating your first one, if it's not converting at, I'd say a good number is like 35-40%. If you're not converting at that, then you need to continue working on it. Okay. We've had talks that convert at 80% on average, but those are different kind of talks. Those are gift talks, right? And we've had talks that didn't convert at all. And so the truth is, if your talk is not converting, you need to continue working on it until it is. That means you need to review it every time you do a presentation in front of about 50 to 100 people, right? So sometimes it's a few presentations. I'm just giving like a sample size, because I know sometimes you jump on the webinar and it's 5 people. That's not a good size to identify whether your talk is a converting talk or not. You need more people. So continue working on that, right? So what we do is we actually host an event 3 times a year that is all about building a profitable signature talk. It's really diving into how do you find your origin story, how to use it, what are the transition points, how to put together your content pieces, and then how to deliver your offer in the way that your audience understands what it's going to do for them and actually converts into your clients. So we heavily focus on that, and that's a 3-day intensive.
Crazy. That's awesome. When you said curiosity with transitions, what can you tell me more about transitions?
Sure. And, sometimes I jump on the webinar, and if it's somebody who is relatively new, it feels a little clunky. And it feels clunky because chances are they looked at somebody else's webinar, right? And then what they did is they stripped the slides, but they forgot how the person transitioned between the slides. And so like story, content, offer, technically there's at least 2 transitions, right, between the pieces. So how to transition between those pieces is actually quite important, because you don't want to just go into like, hi, my name is Kat Halushka, and then dive into your story. There's more to it. It would be really awkward if you just straight up jumped in, or after you delivered a wicked training on whatever it is that you do, you're just like, and here's $1997 program. it's just
wait, huh? Right. Yeah, I think as you mentioned. Yeah, and as you mentioned that, it caught my attention. I was like, it's a really valuable piece. And can you do it without it? Does it work? Well, sure. I mean, should there be enough results and someone will connect, relate? But the art of this conversation, the art in rhetoric and speaking is insanely powerful. And so I think this is like one of those kind of arrows in all of our quiver that's really important. Is there any, like, maybe just like one for fun? Obviously it's a 3-day thing, like you go into depth. Is there maybe just like one high level transition thought or tip that you'd recommend?
Let me think which one is like gonna make the most impact for you guys. Okay, so transition between the story and the content is actually quite valuable, just because most of you get stuck there. And I see it a lot in our clients and people who attend our events. And the truth is, after you're done your story, it's still a part of the story when you start the transition, right? It's literally could be the matter of 1 slide where you share your success or where you are right now. And then you say, hey, the truth is, if an immigrant from Russia who knew only 100 words of English when she came to Canada could build a 6-figure business, you can too. And let me show you how. And this is one of the most powerful transition pieces, because it will leave them hanging and it will make them want to stay and listen, because now you're sharing exactly how you did what you did.
Oh, that was awesome. Thank you. I know I put you on the spot there, but you did awesome.
Share all your secrets.
And go. I'm waiting. But man, like, okay, so one thing that hit me really hard was the truth is, that's having like key phrases at least helps my brain if I'm going to use transition, or even in a sales conversation, like, we have like scriptless selling, but there's still structure. It's an art and a science. And so it's not just, wow, it's got to feel right. There's structure to it. but moving in between those, transitioning in between those points is like, it really makes a difference in the conversation. So I love that phrase, the truth is, and then you're kind of moved. It's really cool. I like that
And
part.
the thing
That was
is,
fun.
like, by using the key phrases like this, you're really tapping into what is going through your audience's mind right now, because it's not like you said a lie before or anything like that. But what happens in people's minds as you shared your story, especially, and I heard that before, guys, this is where the script came from. People will come up to me and it's like, well, good for you. You made $2 million, but like, I can't do that. So all you're doing is you're cutting into their thought process where they're going like, good for you, but there's no way I can do that. And you say, well, the truth is you can. So that's what you're doing, because you're naturally cutting into the thought process of your audience. Every time you share success, there's going to be people in the audience who'll be like, good for them, but I can't do that. So all you're doing, you're saying that they can.
Bringing them back in. I love it. Oh, it's so good. It's so fun to talk to other people who have gotten, results and get to take a step behind the curtain, see what's going on, and the art and the science behind it. So, before we get to our last question, Kat, where's the best place for people to find you?
Well, you can always find me, Kat Halushka, anywhere if you Google me, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever. But guys, just attend one of the boot camps. This is probably the best place for you to really learn the profitable speaker system and make sure you implement it and get that converting signature talk, right? And that's just profitablespeakerbootcamp.com.
Right on, right on. And I know you have one coming up soon. Is it this week? Is that this weekend, or is that a different event? I know you got a lot of things going on.
I'm looking at my calendar. It's September 25, 26, 27, and then we have next one November 6, 7, 8. So if you register right now, just send us an email and I can move your ticket to the November one.
Awesome, get it done, guys. If you need to get your profitable talk dialed in, which I'd argue all of us need, and multiple facets of our business, Kat's definitely the one to reach out to. She's got it dialed in. She's on stages. She's on member spotlight. She's on summits. She's all over the place. So thank you, Kat, for taking some time out and hanging out with us. That said, last question. I love the human element. I personally believe, like, we got musicians. Let's talk about even cooks. Let's talk about painters. I think all of that, in my opinion, all of that's art. And I think entrepreneurs are like business artists. That's kind of how I view it, right? So I like this. Business is just that systematic way of delivering a product or service. How we do that, how we connect with our customers, our audiences, followers, like, that's the art piece. So for you, what is that impact? What is that art that you really sets you apart?
Damn, you know how to ask a question, hey? For me, I truly believe it's believing in other people and seeing their potential before they see theirs. And I've had so many people come and tell me that, because it's hard to see where you can be when you're in the trenches, right? When you're trying to build something and work on something and you feel like it's never working or you're stuck. And I just have that ability to cut through bullshit and be like, here's what you're doing, and I know you can build what you want, and here's how you do it. I'm very much high-level strategy, and I also see a huge potential in what people are creating.
That's so powerful. Kat, thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for coming and hanging out with all us fellow sales ascenders. You guys, I hope you're having a great week. We're only halfway through. There's some more sales to be had. So let's prospect, let's ascend. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.